Welcome to Aging in Recovery. I'm Gil Cintron, licensed master social worker and founder of Never Alone Home Care Services, Incorporated. In our last video, we discussed Pillar 5 of the Aging in Recovery residential model, workforce development and cross-disciplinary training. Today, we'll continue our examination of the 7 pillars by discussing Pillar 6, research, evaluation, and evidence development. This pillar may be one of the most important pillars in the entire model, because eventually, every new idea faces the same question: where is the evidence? And that's a fair question. If aging in recovery is going to emerge as a legitimate field of study and practice, then it cannot rely only on good intentions. It cannot rely only on compassion, and it cannot rely only on personal stories. It must eventually be studied, measured, evaluated, refined, and tested. But there is an important challenge. One of the reasons evidence is limited is because the population itself has been largely invisible. Public systems track addiction, overdose, treatment admissions, hospitalizations, arrests, relapse, homelessness. But society rarely asks what happens after recovery succeeds. What happens to individuals who remain clean for years and sometimes decades? What happens when that individual grows old? Those are the questions aging in recovery attempts to raise. And those questions deserve serious study. At this point, some people may ask a reasonable question: where is the evidence? And that is exactly the right question. But perhaps there is another question we should also be asking. Why is there so little research on people who have successfully maintained recovery and then grown old? For decades, researchers have studied addiction. They have studied overdose, treatment, relapse, incarceration, homelessness, hospitalizations, and the many consequences of active addiction. And all that work is very important. But far less attention has been given to the people whose recovery succeeded. What happens when individuals accumulate significant years of clean time and then begin facing the realities of aging? What happens when mobility declines, when health problems emerge, when recovery peers begin passing away, when sponsors and sponsees are lost, when social networks become smaller, when a person who spent decades maintaining recovery enters a long-term care environment? Those are not unreasonable questions. Those are very real and very important questions. And yet, many of them remain largely unanswered. That is why Pillar 6 is so important. ARRM is not claiming to have all the answers. ARRM is proposing that the questions themselves deserve serious attention. If millions of Americans are aging after years and often decades of recovery, then understanding their experience becomes a legitimate area of inquiry. Study the population, measure the outcomes, evaluate the assumptions, challenge the model, improve the model. That is how serious fields of study develop, not through certainty, but through observation, inquiry, evaluation, and continuous refinement. In many ways, aging in recovery is not simply asking for services. It is asking to be seen. Because invisibility is not only a social problem, it is also a research problem. Thank you for watching Aging in Recovery. If you found this conversation meaningful, please like, subscribe, and follow the channel. And leave your thoughts and comments below. Let's continue the conversation about aging and recovery, the invisible cohort, recovery-informed care, and the future of long-term recovery in America.